Hello everyone and welcome back to WWE 2K14 Universe. I am your host Jitch and you're watching another episode of Friday Night SmackDown, the season premiere episode of Friday Night SmackDown, where the WWE 2012 draft will continue. Coming your way tonight, we have got champion versus champion. This is not a draft match, this is the only non-draft match of the night. But whilst it's still on the table, why the hell not? Let's have champion versus champion. One half of the World Tag Team Champions from Raw, now drafted over to SmackDown. Chris Jericho is set to face off against one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions currently on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre. Both of these two are on SmackDown, which means that one of these two will not be on SmackDown. And right now, obviously, that would likely be Drew McIntyre, as Jericho came over as part of the draft. Also coming your way tonight, we've got JBL, the former WWE Champion. He's competing for the second time this week in the draft. Raw wanting a good representation. They've decided to put JBL forward, and SmackDown has retaliated in a big way. This is complete and utter coincidence, but we've been told that Mick Foley is somehow back from his injuries at the hands of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's not Mankind. He's gotten his help. He's Mick Foley, and he will meet the man that took his brand away from him one-on-one tonight in a draft match. That's going to be huge. Also coming tonight, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, The Big Show, represents Raw for possibly the last time as he gets ready to face off against the man newly representing SmackDown, John Cena, who was drafted over this Monday on Raw. And then finally in our main event, once again, we'll be seeing the champion against the champion. It's a rematch from Monday night, Triple H defeating the WWE Champion, The Rock. Can he make it 2-0? Can he defeat The Rock again tonight? Well, that is what we've got to wait and see. But for now, let's take you to the ring as Raw is represented by its newest addition, Brock Lesnar.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Minneapolis, Minnesota, weighing 287 pounds, Brock Lesnar.
It's pretty big to know that this man is saying goodbye to Friday Night SmackDown, at least currently, as he makes his way down to the ring here tonight. Now, don't forget, of course, as I said on Raw this Monday, if at any point SmackDown wins a match, they can pick to bring back Brock Lesnar. That is down to SmackDown's general manager to make that decision. If they want Lesnar back, they can use one of their picks to take Lesnar back, which in turn will then give them another free pick in the supplemental draft, as well as giving Raw another pick in the supplemental draft, as obviously we can't have two draft picks actually count as part of the 10 each for the brands, only for it to be the same guy bouncing back and forth.
Approaching the ring from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing 245 pounds, the Apex Predator, Randy Orton.
Well, for the second time this week, Randy Orton competes, representing SmackDown. He suffered a loss to Mark Henry this Monday on Raw to kick off the new season. Henry, with a hell of a mean streak, defeated Randy Orton. We'll see if Brock Lesnar can kind of continue that damage. I gotta say, Randy Orton has definitely had some very hard opponents to get through this week. I don't know which is worse, Mark Henry or Brock Lesnar. I mean, I'd want to say Brock Lesnar simply because this guy was at one point breaking arms left and right, but I don't really want to say that Mark Henry is an easier opponent than anyone, because the man is literally dubbed the world's strongest man. Well, either way, this is going to be a fantastic match tonight, I'd like to believe. Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar, they got their history. They've had their matches in the past. And this one has begun. I have decided not to play a lot of the draft matches because I generally don't have a stance. I feel like the only time I want to play a draft match is if I feel like I've got someone's kind of image to protect, maybe, or like trying to make sure that like this guy wins or whatever. But I don't believe there's really that many, if any, where that's actually the case. So I shouldn't really play a lot of the draft matches. I don't mind Triple H beating The Rock again tonight. I feel like it's deserved. Triple H is a very good champion. Obviously, if The Rock gets a win back, that's great too. Randy Orton beats Lesnar tonight. That's going to help him after taking a loss to Henry, but vice versa. If Lesnar beats Orton, that helps build momentum for Lesnar. Either is fine in my opinion. Looking forward to our next match, Chris Jericho and Drew McIntyre one-on-one. After we felt the unveiling of 3MB, and oh, what an unveiling it was. Truly one of my favorite moments we've experienced here in this series. I loved seeing the emergence of 3MB at WrestleMania, and they are the new WWE Tag Team Champions on top. So there's plenty to love. Sorry, my voice is dying. This is actually the second time, because back at WrestleMania I recorded, like, I did a whole week, and then I did WrestleMania after a day off. And then yesterday I recorded WrestleMania, and now today I'm recording an entire week again. I need the draft done pretty much ASAP, so I can start actually coming up with some ideas, so I can start thinking about what I want to do going forward. I don't know the rosters until the draft is done, so I can't say, or obviously I wouldn't say, it's for me to plan out, but you know, I can't initiate anything until the draft is over. Of course, SmackDown's next pay-per-view isn't for quite a while. This year, SmackDown will be hosting the pay-per-view Over the Limit as Randy goes from corner to corner to corner. I'll be interested to see how SmackDown handles Over the Limit. I felt like Raw had some pretty great Over the Limits in the past, but SmackDown will be hosting it this year. I want to say this is SmackDown's first time hosting Over the Limit, or maybe they hosted it last year. I don't think they did, though. I don't think they did. Of course, one of the most focal points to focus on here on SmackDown is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, Damien Sandow. We are still waiting to find out when that man will be cashing in his briefcase, as Money in the Bank is just 3 pay-per-views away. Following Extreme Rules for Raw and Over the Limit for SmackDown, it'll be Money in the Bank for both brands as Brock Lesnar scoops up Randy Orton for one vicious powerbomb after another. And Lesnar has a lot to prove right now after getting bested by Batista at WrestleMania last Sunday. Uh-oh. Orton shooting up to his feet. I forgot they sell really differently in this game. I'd honestly forgotten that about this game. Even like looking at it happen in this, it feels really weird. Like it doesn't feel like something I've ever seen before. Yeah, I did 2 years of 2K14. Cover attempt here after stomping away at Lesnar, and Lesnar is able to kick out. And now Randy runs straight. Oh! Lesnar using his strength there to catch Randy Orton and shoot him into the air, only to catch him onto his shoulders later on for an F5. It would have been more cool if he threw him up in the air and then caught him on his shoulders. But hey, still, Brock Lesnar, representing Raw here tonight, picks up a victory for his brand. And unfortunately, that's 2 losses for Randy Orton this week.
Here is your winner, Brock Lesnar.
Well, Brock Lesnar has just earned Raw their 3rd draft pick. And so far, Raw has picked Jack Swagger and that man right there, Brock Lesnar, as their 2 draft picks in the 2012 draft. Well, Raw gets another pick tonight. It could be their only pick. The other 3 could all be SmackDown, or it could be all Raw. You never know. But no matter what comes later in the night, one thing we do know is someone is being selected from SmackDown to come to Raw, and we're going to find out who it is right now. Let's take you to the draft event as we wait to see. And of course, here's your lineup of some great talent that could be selected in this draft. It could be any one of these or more. Who is going to Raw? Oh. Okay. A little strange that Raw would select to bring Brodus Clay back. They literally gave him up a few months ago. But that's That's quite a questionable choice. I don't mean to be disrespectful to Brodus Clay, but I mean there is a plethora of talent on SmackDown. Damian Sandow, Randy Orton, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. It's a very, very questionable choice, in my honest opinion. But I'm sure there's something that Brodus Clay can bring to SmackDown. I'm sure there's plenty of potential here. I'm not going to say there isn't. But does this mean the end of Brodus Clay and Zack Ryder as a tag team? I would have to say probably, unless Zack Ryder gets drafted. I know there's no rule about keeping teams together in the draft, unlike there is tag team champions. Tag team champions, I meant to say. Wrong emphasis there. Well, there you have it. Brodus on Raw. Well, here comes one of SmackDown's newest acquisitions. Both of SmackDown's new superstars competing here tonight on SmackDown. And this man, freshly a champion. Hey, you remember the jacket this time, that's cool. He didn't wear it when he got drafted. Starting to think maybe he'd forgotten about it. Well, there's Raw's tag title.
Making his way to the ring. From Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, weighing 231 pounds, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, Jericho.
I feel like we may need to do something about that championship around Jericho's waist if he and Big Show do end up here on SmackDown permanently. As I don't really feel like that represents SmackDown very well. That's a very red championship. Black and red is very much the theming of that one. But that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, I suppose, you know, you can have any championship you want anywhere. I don't necessarily think, you know, the Intercontinental Championship has anything about its design that strictly says, hey, this is a Raw Championship, and vice versa for the US title for SmackDown. I just wanted to mention it, because to me that's a very, it's a very Raw-looking championship. Hey, Chris Jericho, freshly in his reign as World Tag Team Champion, competing tonight against fellow SmackDown superstar for the time being. As I said before, by the end of this week, one of these two teams will be off of SmackDown. I'm certainly going to miss Broken Dreams, but...
The ring from Ayr, Scotland, weighing 256 pounds, one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, Drew McIntyre.
Well, as I said, I'm certainly going to miss Broken Dreams, which his nameplate seems to still have a small trace of. But hey, Drew McIntyre looking great with the WWE Tag Team Championship around his waist. He spent a long time pursuing that championship last season, and he never quite managed to capture it with Sheamus, but one opportunity alongside Heath Slater with Jinder Mahal in their corner, and 3MB ended one of the most historic reigns we will ever see, the WWE Tag Team title reign of Edge and Christian. I keep forgetting. I will remember eventually. Whoa, that was a brutal way to start a match off. So, Drew McIntyre. What's wrong with those two? Why is our other commentary team fighting? Well, I feel like this is going to be a great treat of a match. As I said before, we definitely won't be seeing this one again, as one of these two teams will be sent away to the other brand following this week. Said before, there's got to be a natural balance, we've been told, and so unlike previous drafts where we've ended up with both world champions on one brand, or, you know, maybe both tag champions or anything like that that may have happened in the past. I know we've definitely had at least both world champions end up here on SmackDown in the past. That is not a viable possibility this year, as we've been told that if any champions change a brand, then the other champions of that same level will be sent over to the other brand to maintain an order and a balance and not have any kind of issues develop further down the line. So in this situation right now, basically, I'd say that either Big Show is coming to SmackDown or Drew McIntyre is going to Raw, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense for Jericho to return to Raw, and in exchange for that, then SmackDown would gain both Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. I suppose they'd only gain Heath Slater. There's no rules saying that Jinder Mahal has to come with Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater. Slater and McIntyre would be kept together because they're the champions, but they could lose Jinder in that regard, and I don't think that would be very fair on them. I feel like Jinder is their precious baby boy, and they want to keep him, and they should be able to keep him.
Caught the leg. Wow.
Drew McIntyre getting the best of Chris Jericho here tonight. I gotta say, coming off of 2 major WrestleMania victories, one of these two is gonna take a tough loss tonight, because they have both, in my opinion, earned so much momentum with who they defeated. Chris Jericho finally got that retribution he was after by defeating The Miz at WrestleMania and taking away his tag team championship, whilst Drew McIntyre was alongside Heath Slater in ending the most historic reign we have ever witnessed. I know a lot of people find that hard to believe with it being a championship reign, but Edge and Christian won the WWE Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 2, and despite 1 month where they lost the championships, they won them back very quickly and then continued to hold them all the way until WrestleMania 3. And in my opinion, that is a historical reign, undoubtedly. I feel like if you don't respect that reign, you just don't respect the championship. You don't respect any championship. We've never seen anything quite like it. As I say, Edge and Christian, they dropped those tag team championships to the Road Warriors back at Hell in a Cell, and then they recaptured them at TLC and continued to hold them from there until WrestleMania. But barring that, like, what, 1 month, 2 month, whatever that would, I think it actually would have been closer to 2 months, because I think Hell in a Cell was right at the beginning of October and TLC was kind of mid-December. So I think it's actually about 2 months, but they still had 10 whole months as WWE Tag Team Champions, and they managed to make it Mania to Mania, you know, being involved with the WWE Tag Team Championship. Drew, what are you doing? Drew, no! Okay, well, there you go. That's gonna set Jericho back quite a Drew just strutting about. I love this new personality for Heath Slater, Heath Slater's group. We've been told that Heath Slater has taken an extensive measure to kind of try and help Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal, not only in terms of like their worth as superstars, but obviously as well as that he's helped them lay back, he's helped them be who they want to be. And I love it. I think it's great. I feel like we are seeing Drew McIntyre in a better place than we've seen him in a long time. He's no stranger to factions, of course, former member of the United Kingdom, where he was a European champion. But I do feel like he's definitely very valued in 3MB. I feel like they both are. There's the steel steps in the ring and Jericho laying the ref. Oh, I don't even think Jericho meant for that to happen. Drew McIntyre whipping off onto the steps, and oh my god, he's still kicked out. Nice DDT there by Jericho. He's really on a roll tonight. Jericho's on a roll, not Funk. Cover attempt here by Jericho as he got Drew McIntyre down and out. No. I can't imagine Drew's got too much fight left in him after whipping off of those steel steps. That must have taken its toll on Drew McIntyre, and Jericho has been all offense. But I mean, we've also seen Drew McIntyre put Jericho through the announce table. So honestly, this is any man's game. This has been very, very intense between these two. You'd think these two had been fighting forever, but no, this is a first for them. I don't believe these two have ever had any history with one another. They just really came out here with something to prove, I guess. Drew now sending Jericho, into the ropes with that German suplex. And now Drew McIntyre getting ready to put Jericho away, catches him, and there you see the Future Shock DDT. Go on, Drew, pin him. Pin him, Drew, pin him. There you go. Covering Chris Jericho off the Future Shock, and it's over. It's another important victory for 3MB. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving 3MB already. This is great. Oh yes, give us more, Drew. More air guitars, please. He's flying, guys. He's flying. Look at him. He's flying. Oh, it's so good. Drew McIntyre is having the time of his life right now, and if you're not enjoying this, well, you just don't like seeing people be happy, frankly. What a great win over Chris Jericho here tonight. Drew McIntyre is victorious as we move onwards to our next match. This one is one that has been a very, very long time in the making. JBL faces off against a recently treated Mick Foley. This man has gotten all of his therapy. He's gotten rid of the split personalities. He's gotten himself all sorted out. It is going to be the Mick Foley making his in-ring return tonight, and he is going to face JBL to try and settle an old score.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from New York City, John Bradshaw Layfield.
Well, Raw putting a lot of faith in JBL, and I can't blame the Raw General Manager Stephanie McMahon after the performance of JBL. She may not like JBL, she may not, you know, hold him in any form of high regard, but you can't deny that JBL was very effective this Monday on Raw against Brodus Clay, and he earned them a draft pick very quickly on. And we saw Jack Swagger become an official member of the Raw roster thanks to this man's victory. The question now is, can JBL score Raw another pick? This would be Raw's 4th overall pick in the draft. Just as I've mentioned before, there are 8 rounds in which we'll be seeing these draft matches where a superstar represents their brand and in turn earns that brand a hand-selected pick rather than a randomly selected pick, or of course a enforced pick like you know, exchanging tag team champions, as I was speaking about moments ago with Jericho and McIntyre. What a grand return this is.
From Setauket, Long Island, New York, weighing 287 pounds, Mick Foley.
Mick Foley is finally back to being himself, no more Mankind. I don't think there's anything necessarily too wrong with Mankind. I just think that it's great to know this guy's at least a little more mentally sound. Now let's just hope they've done something about that sock he keeps in his pants, because I don't think that's very healthy. Mick Foley and JBL, they have got a very old... I will remember. I will reach a point where I remember. It will happen. There will come a point where I go, oh yeah, it's going to be a loading screen in a second. Yes, these two have a real score to settle amongst themselves. JBL and Mick Foley. This one goes back to late last year, when JBL took Mick Foley's entire brand of ECW away from him. Foley then came here to ECW, and we saw a pretty drastic decline, I'd say. I was trying to think of how to phrase that, but it was a pretty dire decline in success for the former Mankind. I'm just glad that he's finally able to remove the mask, not hide behind characters like Dude Love and Cactus Jack. This man is just going to be himself again. And that's great. Mick Foley is great. Mick Foley is good. Foley is good. That's the line, not Mick Foley is good. Sorry, I couldn't quite remember off the top of my head. We still got 2 more draft matches to come your way, and then tomorrow night on Superstars, we will be taking the final steps in the draft, the supplemental draft, where we find out who will be exchanged in order to help balance rosters, as well as who will be exchanged as chosen randomly to go from SmackDown to Raw. As I mentioned on Raw, but in case this is your first time watching for any reason, this supplemental draft will exclude draft members that have already been featured. So for example, Brock Lesnar, if he is not drafted back to SmackDown in any of the last 3 draft matches here tonight on SmackDown, he will not be a part of the rotation for the supplemental draft. He is excluded from that pool, and he will remain on Raw. It's kind of a gamble that you take with the hand-picked drafts of the draft match, is if you can keep, say SmackDown can keep John Cena until the supplemental draft, they've got John Cena, guaranteed permanently. He is a part of SmackDown. Cover attempted by JBL. Has he got Foley done already? No. Whereas, what's this? JBL, oh, sent over the ropes. Whereas, if Cena is brought back to Raw following one of Raw's victories, then Raw will get back a pick, but in turn they're still taking a gamble, because although Raw will get back a pick and SmackDown will get back a pick, they'll lose a hand pick. Oh god, we saw this happen to Booker T in the past. That is literally the exact move and the exact destination that led to Booker T being dealt a spinal injury that has potentially seen the end of his career here in this series. I cannot believe JBL actually had the gall to just pull that one on Foley. But of course, as I mentioned before, basically the way it works, okay, so I feel like I'm overcomplicating things here by explaining this. The draft matches, you can pick whoever you want, but that means you can pick to bring back someone. In turn, by doing that, you're costing your opponent brand one of their picks, but you're also costing yourself one of your picks. And although you'll get your superstar back, if you keep your superstar on your brand by the end of it, and it was his home brand, he will be included in the supplemental draft pool and could go back again. So you are taking a real gamble if you take someone back. You've got to want them pretty badly and think that you're not going to somehow lose them. I feel like it's a very complex situation to describe, but I feel like it will make plenty of sense in execution. Oh! JBL. He tried getting that clothesline from hell off on the back of him. And now for the second time, JBL, with that big power bomb, sending Foley down. Unfortunately, I think JBL has continued to put down Mick Foley. And unfortunately, JBL continues to pick up momentum for himself. Oh my god. This man is unhinged right now. He wants his WWE Championship back. Just under 50% of the Raw roster will no longer be on Raw following the supplemental draft. And that could include JBL. He could be sent far away from The Rock, and at that point, what does he do? It's hard to say. Either way, 2 very dominant victories, one over Brodus, one over Foley. He has picked up 2 picks for Raw, even if that is the final thing he ever does for that brand. And now we find out who JBL has earned as another entry for Raw. There is so many great talents on SmackDown. Who will Raw choose next? Oh my god. Raw is making all the picks. Where's his tattoos gone? Where did you get that hair from? Yeah, I can't control what attire they come out with in the draft. They come out in the default one. I must admit, this Batista always makes me feel happy to see, because this is the Batista that I remember. But that's not the Batista I'm using. Well, anyway, Batista is officially drafted over to Monday nights which is where he got his start back in 2009. This is massive. The Animal Batista is officially a part of Monday Night Raw once again. Yeah, this is huge. And of course, Brock Lesnar also over on Raw. I think we haven't seen the last of those two facing off, it's safe to say. Well, as Batista makes his way to Raw, we now continue with the 2012 WWE Draft.
Making his way to the ring, standing 7 feet tall, weighing over 141 pounds, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, The Big Show.
Well, Big Show's tag team partner Chris Jericho was unsuccessful in defeating Drew McIntyre earlier in the night. We'll see if the other half of Jericho, the newly crowned World Tag Team Champions, can defeat SmackDown's newest acquisition, John Cena. Of course, Big Show and Cena formerly on the same brand, so no stranger to each other, really. I mean, I don't think they ever really crossed paths, but even still, this should be a pretty nice match. I don't really know that I think I have a chosen. Did you ever have a dream that
Approaching the ring from West Newbury, Massachusetts, weighing 240 pounds, John Cena.
What a shock pick this was to close out this Monday on Raw. SmackDown's World Heavyweight Champion Triple H defeated the WWE Champion The Rock, and in turn, SmackDown got one absolutely huge pick in John Cena. And I gotta say, I feel like he definitely doesn't want to be done with Mark Henry, but I think he very well may be. But I feel like he very well may be. Sorry, I keep forgetting. Why is he playing up heel Cole so much in this game? That, like, wasn't Cole and Lawler's match? Oh no, was that WrestleMania 29? Oh no, I don't actually remember. They're all a bit of a blur. I'm pretty sure it was 27, wasn't it? Hang on a minute, I'm looking this up. Michael Cole. Yeah, Mania 27. One of the worst Manias ever. Really weird that they're playing up the heel Michael Cole commentary so much then. That's like 2 years outdated at this point. I think he stopped pretty shortly after that feud, didn't he?
What an amazing force was behind that slam.
What a weird thing that was. Let's have the commentators rival with each other. That would be something people want to watch. Said no one. A very loud no one, because they did it, so thanks no one. Thanks for saying that. Well, I do wonder who will be the better man tonight between John Cena and the Big Show. I was about to say the bigger and better man. Well, obviously bigger would absolutely be the Big Show. That's not even a fair contest if you put it by size. Thankfully, that's not what we're putting it by. We are going to find out who is the better man.
The quick kick
Sorry, I'm getting very tired. It's almost 4 a.m. but I've been sleeping very badly lately. I've been having like naps, like 3 to 4 hour naps just every now and then. I haven't had like proper sleep in days, which is really bad for you. I really need to have that not be the case, but it just keeps happening.
Big Show makes the kick out by Cena. What a night we're having on SmackDown. Look out! Headbutt. Boy, did he get
Big Show with a huge headbutt there, and obviously I think he's feeling real good right now in his second World Tag Team Championship reign. But is he feeling good enough to beat John Cena? You know, I feel like the fact that John Cena and Mark Henry went to, oh my god, but the fact that they went to a no contest at WrestleMania, I feel like that really speaks volumes about the talents of both Cena and Mark Henry. You can say what you want about that match. Obviously we didn't see a winner. I can understand there being some disappointment and such. But one thing that I think that proved is just how tough both of those two are. Oh god. Just gotta make it through this and Superstars, and then I can have a small nap. John Cena? No freaking way. Oh my god. Why? Why though? Wow, imagine that. John Cena almost getting a draft pick for SmackDown. Uh-oh. Sounds like the fans are pretty divided. It's Big Show saying, "This is how you do it, Cena." That's his choke slam right there. And it doesn't get the job done either. Well, both of these two are still hanging in there despite a choke slam from both of them. So all we need now is an abdominal stretch and we should have a winner. Big Show back up to his feet. Cena continues to strike away though. Back and forth between these two. Oh my god, Cena, chill out. Drops down the elbow on the Big Show. Cena now flipping Big Show over. Oh, another reversal from the Big Show. Cena, I think he's very slowly and effectively wearing the Big Show down. For sure.
Cena just one heartbeat quicker on that exchange.
Sorry.
These athletes seem to have tried
I should have really gone like a little nap if I could have. Back and forth between these two has been pretty nuts. Still to come, we've got Triple H and The Rock one more time. We're going to run it back. Two world champions, one-on-one. I do wonder if Triple H can beat The Rock once again. Or if tonight will be The Rock's night. This is our homecoming for SmackDown for The Rock. He spent most of his career here on SmackDown. Oh my god! Oh my goodness! How tough is this guy? That might cost him. They always say, don't waste too much time pulling your opponent away from the ropes. Yeah, never mind. SmackDown picks up its third pick. Well, if Triple H wins tonight, they'll have completely broke even. So I guess that's something to kind of put on the main event up next. But let's not focus too much on the main event. Let's focus on what this means for SmackDown. John Cena, who only just became a SmackDown superstar moments ago, this Monday on moments. 4 days equals moments. Sorry. Well, 4 days ago, John Cena became a SmackDown superstar, and here tonight he's earned SmackDown another superstar. But now the question remains, who is going to be coming to SmackDown? There is a lot of great talent on Raw. There is also some divas. Please don't draft them. They're not real picks. Who's it going to be? Oh, John Cena of all people. just brought Mark Henry to SmackDown. Of all the people that Cena could have accomplished bringing to his brand. What are the odds of that? That is actually kind of crazy. Wow. John Cena just brought Mark Henry over to him. They now remain on the same brands as each other. And I feel like that means that this feud is far from over. I'm not going to say I'm kind of glad. I wanted to see more of these two against each other after WrestleMania. We didn't get a winner. So, Raw has picked Jack Swagger, Brock Lesnar, Brodus Clay, and Batista. And SmackDown has picked Chris Jericho, John Cena, and now Mark Henry. There's one pick left, and we will find out who that is after our main event up next. Welcome back to Friday Night SmackDown for one night only, potentially, could be more.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Miami, Florida, weighing 260 pounds, the WWE Champion, The Rock.
The Rock captured the WWE Championship from JBL this past Sunday at WrestleMania. Triple H, really taking advantage of the fatigue of The Rock, was able to pick up a very hard-fought win between two great world champions. Tonight, they have their rematch. And I feel like as much as this is for Raw, as much as this is for the hopes of, you know, bringing another fresh face to Raw and helping out the brand that really put The Rock on the map, I also feel this is for The Rock. I feel this one is for The Rock quite a bit, actually. After taking a loss to Triple H, I think he needs to defeat Triple H here tonight in his home turf. Well, this should be a great main event. We already saw this once over on Raw, but a lot can change. I might skip this entrance after a certain point, just because I really need to get some sleep in. Oh, it's great to see the World Heavyweight Champion still champion on SmackDown.
And approaching the ring from Greenwich, Connecticut, weighing 244 pounds, the World Heavyweight Champion,
After what went down between Triple H and Antonio Cesaro at WrestleMania, I don't mind Antonio Cesaro being a world champion, don't get me wrong, but I feared that it was already over. And I feel like Triple H has worked too damn hard to lose that championship so soon. We have been told, I have a small update on Damien Sandow, Mr. Money in the Bank. Apparently he's currently injured. Genuinely. Not just trying to play anything funny. The reason you didn't see Damien Sandow try to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania is because following the match with Triple H on SmackDown, Sandow went into his match with Ziggler not 100%, and that was further irritated. And Sandow will be sidelined for a short period of time. I'm gonna cut the entrance short right here. Forgive me, it's just a very long entrance. Rock going straight in on the offense, and here we go. It's round 2 between these two. As I mentioned before, neither of these are really 100%, so I can't really give a advantage/disadvantage. All I will say is that I feel like The Rock definitely wasn't 100% going up against Triple H last Monday, but they have had 4 days Sorry, they have had 4 days to recover, and we'll see if that makes a difference in the grand scheme of things for The Rock tonight. Last time these two faced off, The Rock was 24 hours removed from defeating JBL for the WWE Championship, and whilst I know Triple H was also 24 hours removed from retaining the World Heavyweight Championship against Antonio Cesaro, I feel Rock definitely had a very hard-fought uphill struggle to win that championship. Not saying that Triple H didn't to retain it, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying, like, I don't think Rock was quite 100% on Monday. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. At the same time, I am excusing him. I am saying I don't think that he had a lot of things he could have done differently. I'll have to do the supplemental draft on Superstars tomorrow, which won't matter for you because you'll see the video whatever tomorrow is for you anyway. Like, it's not gonna make a difference. It's not like I'm gonna go really long without recording this. So I'm gonna have to do it another day because I can't stay awake. It's like actually really hard to pay any attention right now. I've hit such a brick wall. He'd be up in like 2 hours as well, I think. And he'd be up and out in 2 hours. Oh, why am I recording this late? I mean, to be fair, I always record late. I think it's because I'm recording a whole week. I think that's the setback that I wasn't quite anticipating. Plus, I've already seen this match, like, really recently. I don't really like that about this. I suppose I could have, I'll have to remember that in the future. For the draft matches, if I change the World Championship to, like, the United States and Intercontinental, then at least we could get a face-off between those champions. Because it just puts whatever's marked as World Champion against each other. So yeah, I suppose if you made the just any other titles in the world title slot just for that 1 week, you could then do a different match on one show to the other. I could have swore there was 1 year where the draft match on the other show was like all the top contenders against each other. It was like a triple threat. Oh, Rock! Oh, come on now, Rock! Playing a dangerous game there, hitting Triple H with his own move, the pedigree. Rock goes into the cover as he defeated the World Heavyweight Champion. Almost. Very much almost.
What a match. And he's heading back in. The Rock squeezing down on the head.
Sweep from Triple H takes the Rock off his feet. Triple H really not taking too kindly to being hit with a pedigree. That comes as no surprise. Imitation is the finest form of flattery, but at the same time, there is no bigger insult to injury than being hit with your own finishing move, especially if it were to win the match. Always that possibility that's running through their heads. What if I lost to the pedigree? You know, well, that's exactly what Triple H is thinking, I'd imagine. We shouldn't see too many time limit draws this season by the looks of things. These matches seem to go at a fairly decent pace. I don't know about tag matches. I think those are probably still going to be a bit of a headache, but thankfully we haven't had any this week. Spinebuster from the World Heavyweight Champion as he goes into the cover on the Rock. Will he defeat him with the Spinebuster? No. I can only imagine that Triple H is maybe looking for a pedigree, but I guess not. I'm just so glad The Rock doesn't have that facial hair anymore. That was really bugging me. I used to think that suited him, but now I look back at it and I'm like, why did I think that? Is it just because I like facial hair? Just because I like having it? So I'm like, yeah, it suits him. Triple H catching Rock, and it looks like he's going to drop him flat down on the edge. One of the hardest parts of the ring. It's just a sharp corner of canvas. Rock is looking hot. Oh, never mind, he's up. See, I don't mind those. They don't really take away from the match. If anything, they help make it go just a little bit longer. It's like they're wasting a finisher real quick. Almost. I really don't mind those. As long as they don't like end every match, which they didn't. He got up at 1. You want to hear something really crazy? Oh, it's going to end here, isn't it? Yeah, this is it, isn't it? Isn't this how Rock lost? Didn't he get choked out by Triple H? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a sleeper hold. Not an abdominal stretch, it was a sleeper hold, but still. It was a submission hold, just a basic one. Sleeper holds are pretty legit though, I think they're pretty decent. It depends on how it's being done. Nice reversal by The Rock there. I like the way he kind of craftily dug his boot into the back of Triple H's knee. That was very smart. It's the kind of move that makes someone a WWE champion. Uh-oh. I think this is it. I think this is it. We're just going to really delegitimize our world champions with generic submission victories. Well, not that time. And even the SmackDown fans chanting WIKI. This guy's just very loved right now. Cover attempt? No. Believe it or not, I didn't actually set this one to epic experience. Oh, rock bottom on Triple H. The first one on Raw was on epic. This one was just normal. And Rock picks up the 5th victory for Raw. That's the final score for these draft matches. It's 5-3. The question is, will Raw take back one of their old superstars? Or will Raw take another name from SmackDown? Either way, this is the final draft match of the week. Following this, we'll have the supplemental draft tomorrow night on Superstars. The way that works is periodically throughout the show, I'll be announcing to you more draft picks that have taken place, as they'll be taking place throughout the show. And you shall be seeing the results of the draft take place throughout the coming weeks as the rosters will take shape. But the WWE Champion is victorious. The Rock has won this one as we now move on to the draft event, the final draft event of 2012. Who is going to be hand-selected from Raw? They've got a lot to choose from, including some of their own former talents. Who's Raw going to take? Oh, wow. The United States Champion, Dolph Ziggler, coming back to Raw. This is a moment where you've got to be very grateful that Mr. McMahon is not in charge of Raw anymore, because the first thing he'd do is screw this man out of his championship the way he did before. Well, Dolph Ziggler closes out the hand-selected, and with that I can now confirm to you that as required parts of the supplemental draft to keep championships intact, I can confirm to you that SmackDown will be gaining the Big Show, Raw will be gaining Drew McIntyre, and Raw will also, SmackDown will also be gaining Bret Hart. Those ones are guaranteed. The Intercontinental Championship now part of Friday nights, the World Tag Team Championship part of Friday nights, the WWE Tag Team Championship over on Raw, and the US Championship also back on Raw. See you guys tomorrow for the supplemental